To end the section off, I want to show you guys 3 of my favorite, I guess, techniques to use within fills. So I'm not going to show you exact fills note for note, but I am going to show you techniques that I like to use and certain patterns that I like to split up around the kit to create fills that people now seem to think are kind of my signature fills, because I do use them a lot. The first one that I use most of the time, I love this fill, I love this combination of notes on the kit, is just 2 strokes on the bass drum. I usually play it with 1 foot, so it's just bass drum, and then 3 strokes on the top, right, left, right. Before I get too deep into that, this is what it sounds like at full speed. So it's not a complicated pattern. It's 2 strokes on the bottom, 3 on top. A lot of people think it's 4 on top. It kind of sounds that way. And I guess if you break it down stroke for stroke, it kind of is. But the 4th one is a silent note. You don't play it. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, silent. But I mean, you don't even have to think about it like that. The way that I think about it is just this burst of 5 notes that I can split up around the kit comfortably, because I've been playing that pattern for so long, it's really easy for me to split it up. The reason why I only play 3 strokes on top and not 4 is because my left hand is stupid, and it's really easy for me to play right, left, right, because in this whole pattern, that means my left hand is only playing 1 stroke, which is sweet because it's not as smart as the right hand. So when I'm getting really quick, the right hand is doing the doubles and the left one is kind of just adding a little note in between them, but it doesn't have to play 2 strokes. So it's a really easy fill and a really easy pattern to kind of unleash on the kit. But like I said, if you break it down, I guess it's 6 notes, with the 6th one being a silent note. So I guess it's this being played like this. With that 6th note just being a kind of a gap. But like I said, I just think about it as a 5 note like burst that I unleash. Yes, that sounds really hardcore, but that's how I think about it. I just have these 5 notes that I can split up around the kit in a very comfortable way. I think that's why it's kind of a signature of mine. I saw this, to be honest, from Mike Portnoy. He always did these sick foot-to-hand combinations, and that definitely inspired me to start doing stuff like that. But this is something that I love using. It's pretty much endless in the way that you can split it up around the kit. That's definitely one of my signature fills, I'd say. So now I'll just use the technique again, and I'll play with the speed a little bit. I'll go a bit quicker and a bit slower so you can see exactly how I split it up. Like I said, really simple pattern, 2 on the bottom, 3 on top. You'll be able to spot it, especially if I do it really slowly between the bass drum and the snare. I'll work that somewhere into this jam session, but this is just me using that full pattern around the kit. Another technique that I have mentioned previously is the Herta. This was heavily inspired by Travis Barker's playing. He loved using this. I guess he still loves using it, but he used it in many of the songs that I listened to when I started playing drums. Basically what the Herta is, I think it's a hybrid rudiment. It's not really recognized as one of the 40 like essential rudiments, but it's two 16th notes followed by two 8th notes. So if you're playing in 8th notes, then you just double up the left hand. That's what it sounds like. I sound like an idiot with little mouth sounds, I know I do, but that's how I think about the fall. It's a sound to me. It's not really a note pattern. I played this for years before I knew it was two 16th notes followed by two 8th notes. It can actually also, I don't know, theoretically be two 8th notes followed by two quarter notes, or two 32nd notes followed by two 16th notes. You get the idea. The two notes in the beginning are 2 times faster than the ones that follow them. This is what it sounds like when I use double strokes on the hats. So that's the sound. And you can play it with singles as well, and then it sounds like this. It sounds pretty much the same, but this is just being played with single strokes all the way through. One thing that I should mention though is, because small little theory lesson, because it's two 16th notes followed by two 8th notes, and two 16th notes are one 8th note. Know what I'm saying? The length is 3 8th notes, so it's got a triplet feel. I know that sounds all complicated, but I'm just going to count 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Just kind of keep that triplet vibe going, and then I'll play the hertz consecutively, and then you'll see it fits perfectly into that triplet feel. So this is what it sounds like, not squished, but kind of fit into the triplet mold. So it's 3 notes long, whether it be 8th notes or 16th notes, I don't know, but it's got that triplet feel, especially if you play it in single strokes around the kit within a 4/4 groove. Just be aware of the fact that it's got that triplet feel. It's like 3 notes long. So I'll just use it all around the kit in ways that I like using it, because I love this pattern, and then hopefully you can kind of recognize the fact that I have used this in many videos on YouTube and many songs that I've written, and I love this pattern. This is definitely one of my favorite things to use around the kit. The last signature fill that I just want to show you guys real quick uses 16th note triplets. So if I'm playing this beat, then 16th note triplets will feel like this within the context of that beat. So that's how they are placed in that structure. And then what I do with that kind of feel is I split it up between the two hands and using my foot as well. I can't explain it better than that. I think the best way to explain it to you is just to jam and to try and use that technique and fold, so you can see how I split it up. I'll slow it down as well so that you can see how I try to kind of get my foot to replace some of the notes and to give it a pretty unique feel. I saw this technique when I started checking out guys who are really good at playing the gospel style, guys like Aaron Spears and Gerald Hayward and who else? Ramon Sampson, Chris Coleman. Those guys are just, the fills are inhuman. They are sick, and a lot of them like using that triplet pattern. So I kind of started trying to adapt it in my little like white boy style of playing, but I still dig it. I'm not as fast as them. I don't think I'm as creative as them, but I love this pattern. I love splitting it up around the kit. It just gives such a cool vibe. So I'll try to use it in some fills, and then I'll slow it right down so you can see how I kind of get these combinations together. So that's pretty much the combination. As some of you might have noticed, I also threw in the little, I guess, signature fill number 1. I kind of always like to end stuff with that. It just seems like it's a really good way to create the illusion of speed when it's actually not that fast. But 2 strokes on the bottom, 3 on top, and I kind of just try to interpolate that with this 16th note triplet kind of feel. But that's definitely one of my favorite things to use. I love the feel of triplets, so I always try to kind of put that into the fills.